We'll call to order the continuation of the Budget Committee meeting. Note attendance, we have all three commissioners, Commissioner Mortars, Chair Pope, and Commissioner Gordon. In addition, we have the three lay members, Hartman, Mr. Wasson, and myself, David Johnson. At this time, I believe we have a couple of recommendations based on some additional information that Mr. Hansen's going to present. Mr. Hansen.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, in your packet is a cover memo. Probably the sheets you want to look at are pages 2 and 3 in the document. They include the recommended changes for the tentatively approved budget. As you know, in April, we went through all these budgets and tentatively approved. We wait till May to get final approval with the budget committee. There's a small change in the general fund. It's more of a correction. We had we didn't cover all the employee costs associated in the assessor's office. We modified that. We used this modified number when we turned in our A&T or CAFA grant to the state of Oregon. So we need to make this change. That required a corresponding modification to the contingency to balance out the general fund. The next change is a big change. We're increasing or proposing to increase the Public Works Fund by 2.5 million. That's basically a placeholder. There is a big transportation package that is currently at the legislature right now. The impacts of that transportation package could be as much as $5.3 million additional when it all plays out. If 50% of the items pass, there's a chance we could get 2.5 million. So this is the placeholder, like I say. I put all the additional revenue that's included in this in contingency, so it's not used for operations from that. It just is there in case they do get the money, and we could use it if there was some kind of emergency necessary in public works. But don't know for sure if we're going to get it, and don't anticipate that we would even use it this fiscal year. We will need to do some infrastructure studies and those things. Not recommending to put it in there, but not put it in anything operational, just put it in contingency and go from there. The next modification occurs in management services. We had an overstatement of revenues in central services, and we corrected that. And then we had a large 3-year expenditure in our GIS program that we talked to our auditors and don't have to show budgetarily. So we reduced that cost. It's a net effect of a reduction in the management services fund, and that explains that. And then the last change is another increase in behavioral health based on, I don't know if you remember, Commissioner Pope asked why one revenue line item was so much smaller than the prior years. It's because I left out a 0. So going from like 3,900,000, it went to, I added 3 million or 390,000. So you just add a 0 and you increase everything. That change also, those monies were put into contingency. So those are the modifications. Obviously, we're going to have to make some modifications upon adoption, but that won't affect this. But we will, in this approved budget, we have the fare as if the levy passed. It's obvious that it did not pass, so I had a without that I handed out, but we'll modify that and move that down. And then there's probably one or two other funds that we will move down once we get better information from the legislature and what the state is doing on some of their funding issues. Those are the changes recommended for the approved budget. You have more detailed sheets of where those changes occurred. They're highlighted in blue. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. So those are the recommended changes for the budget.
Any questions or further discussion? Do I have a motion? We need a motion.
We do that later.
You do it later,
Do that later. All right.
after public comment and then the minutes.
I like the way you think.
Let's get to the result. All right. All right. I'm looking around the room. I do not see members of the public, although I do see some county employees. I guess they count as members of the public. Is there anybody who would care to comment? No. Okay. All right. In our packet, we have some proposed minutes. Ms. Panetta pointed out an error in the first line. In the year, it's 23-24. It should be 24-25. With that amendment, is there a motion regarding the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you. Further discussion? Those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Is there a motion regarding the proposed budget for 2025-2026?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? All right. Further discussion? Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item on our agenda is approval of the 2025-2026 general fund tax levies. The recommendation is that we approve the general fund tax rate of $1.71.6 per thousand. Is there a motion?
Also move.
Thank you, Mr. Mordhurst. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hartman. Further discussion? Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. The next levy that we need to take up is the public safety operating levy of a tax rate of 49.5 cents per thousand. Is there a motion regarding that levy?
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Hartman. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wasson. Further discussion? Those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say nay. With that, our meeting is adjourned.